Peace, I'm back with another video. This is about Jussie Smollett lawyers. Even if after a fake attack, cops didn't need to investigate it so vigorously. And of course they didn't need to investigate it because Jussie Smollett filed a police report on January of this year because he was allegedly attacked. And of course Eddie Johnson of the Chicago Police Department and the former mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, did not believe him. But the body cameras came out to prove that Jussie Smollett had a rope around his neck, and he told the officer that he had bleach poured on him. And of course, as you can see, here's Jussie Smollett coming out of the courtroom. This is it. Jussie Smollett is smoking. The actor, once a star of the hit TV series Empire, is making one last attempt to get a city lawsuit against him tossed out of federal court before it proceeds to trial. So Jussie is used to be on the hit TV series Empire, and of course Empire is going to have their final episodes this fall because this is what Lee Daniels wants, and Lee Daniels has decided that Jussie Smollett will not be returning to Empire at all because of these alleged fake attacks. And of course, Jussie is making one last attempt to get a city lawsuit against him tossed out of federal court before it proceeds to trial. So he's got to keep trying to get this lawsuit against him tossed out. Snead learned exclusively that late Tuesday night his attorneys filed a motion responding to the city's claim that he should pay the city more than $130,000 to cover police overtime and other costs. The city says the cost was incurred in connection with an investigation into a report he filed claiming he was the victim of a racist and homophobic attack in River North. Police later charged Smollett with staging the attack. So Snead learned exclusively that late Tuesday night his attorneys filed a motion, and of course responding to the city's claim that he should pay the city more than $130,000. Now, Jussie Smollett had a $10,000 bond. He forfeited it over to the city of Chicago, and he did 2 days worth of community service. That's all he did. And now the city of Chicago, they want to sue him for $130,000 plus another $130,000. That's $390,000 in all that they want. And of course Jussie Smollett is not going to pay that because, you know, it's ridiculous that the city of Chicago is suing Jussie Smollett. The city says the cost was incurred in connection with an investigation into a report he filed claiming he was the victim of a racist and homophobic attack in River North. Now, there is no way that Jussie could have faked his own attack, because if you out here walking around late at night and somebody jumps you from behind, allegedly, then yeah, you're going to file police reports. And that's exactly what Jussie Smollett did. But the police later charged Smollett with staging the attack. Now the police had no right to do that, to charge him with 16 counts of everything. Because, you know, the police are in the wrong, and of course the police, when they file out police reports, they hide the truth and they just put the lies there so that the people can believe it. And of course, you know, this is all a distraction as usual. Attorneys for Smollett denied the actor made up the attack, and no charges were ultimately dropped by Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx. So Kim Foxx had dropped the charges allegedly, but I doubt very much it was her, because it was her team that really did it, and they sealed his records, and of course the judge has ordered the records to be unsealed so they could see what else is on there. Attorneys for Smollett denied the actor made up the attack. So if you're getting attacked and you're filing police reports, then the police all of a sudden say, well, you faked this and that. What? Seriously? The police are a bunch of liars. My client from the beginning has maintained his innocence and disputed the city's allegations, said William J. Quinlan of the Quinlan law firm who filed the motion. He noted that it's going to be very difficult for the city to prevail in making a case my client should pay for overtime for a case ultimately dismissed by the state's attorney. So there's a William J. Quinlan who is in the law firm of Quinlan Law Firm, who filed a motion. He also noted that it's going to be very difficult for the city to prevail in making a case his client should pay for overtime. Now, Jussie don't have to pay for overtime and all this other stuff. He doesn't have to. And the city of Chicago can't make him at all because, it's ridiculous. It's a cruelty and everything. You got to force somebody to pay the city? No, you cannot force a person to pay the city for something that you say that it was a fake attack when it wasn't. It's ridiculous and a stretch to require him to do so. But the latest court filing contends even if Smollett did make a false report, there is no way the city can assert he would have known the city would investigate it to the extent cops did. So the cops went totally beyond to what they have done. They say, oh, Jussie faked his attack. He put the rope around his neck, da-da-da-da-da. No. Somebody else did it, because if you're sitting up here and knowing that these people have done something to him, then the police are just totally outrageous in Chicago, because they make up every lie they could think of. And of course, but the latest court filing contends even if Smollett did make a false report, which he didn't, allegedly, we contend the city is wrong. Quinlan said of the city's assertion that Smollett should have known the police would log nearly 2,000 hours in overtime trying to resolve the case. The mere fact somebody filed a police report doesn't presume the investigation will be done, and certainly not to the extent of what the city is claiming. So Quinlan's saying that we contend the city is wrong. Yes, the city is wrong. And of course, said of the city's assertion that Smollett should have known the police would log nearly 2,000 hours in overtime trying to resolve the case. So the police of the city of Chicago, they have worked nearly 2,000 hours in overtime trying to resolve the case. And of course, it's not easy trying to resolve a case once you file a police report and then the investigation begins. The mere fact somebody filed a police report doesn't presume the investigation will be done, and certainly not to the extent of what the city is claiming. So this is what the police have done. They're claiming that he did this and did that, and that's not true. He added, Smollett has no control over that, and he doesn't. Jussie Smollett don't have control over that. It's totally outrageous. In the legal brief obtained by Sneed, Smollett makes clear that the disputes any and all assertion that he made a false statement and was not a victim of a crime. So they're trying to say he was not a victim of a crime, but when Jussie Smollett was making a police report on January 29th this year at about 2 a.m. in the morning, yeah, you're gonna sit there and make police reports telling the police everything that happened. Oh, well, this person did this and this person did that. also saying, oh, well, he poured bleach on me, da da da, and everything else. So, I mean, seriously, come on. But even if he did, the filing of a police report in and of itself does not necessitate a sprawling investigation, nor does it as a practical matter usually result in an investigation as extensive as the one the CPD choose to undertake in this case, the motion says. So it was up to the police to choose to undertake in this case. Of course, a sprawling investigation nor does it as a practical matter and usually result in although the filing of a police report in and of itself does not necessitate. It goes on to say the city has filed to allege that Mr. Smollett was similarly well aware that his statements to police would result in 1,836 hours of police overtime or any other reasons why he should have known this would have been the case. So there was 1,836 hours of police overtime. Now, Jussie Smollett didn't know about that was going to happen. And of course, it goes on to say the city has filed to allege that Mr. Smollett was similarly well aware. If he was similarly well aware, why didn't he just stop right there? But instead, he just kept filing up with the police. Last month, U.S. District Judge Virginia Kendall, who is hearing the case, said she will rule in October on whether the city could move forward with its lawsuit to redeem the cost. A status report filed last month in the case said the earliest a trial could take place is in June. So now, you got a U.S. District Judge Virginia Kendall, who is hearing the case, and she said she will rule in October on whether the city could move forward with the lawsuit. So it'll be up to her to redeem the cost. The status report filed last month in the case said the earliest a trial could take place is in June. So it'll be up to her whether she wants to hear it or not. And if it does go through, it will take place next year in June of 2020. Smollett, who has always maintained his innocence, has been spending his time traveling between San Francisco and New York, where he has hung out with pals from the Fox series, and he recently spent time with singer Janet Jackson in Las Vegas. So Smollett has been maintaining his innocence. He has been spending time with traveling between San Francisco and New York. So those are the only two places he would go. And of course, he would hang out with his pals from the Fox series. In other words, like Taraji P. Henson, Brashear, Terrence Howard, and whoever else. And he recently spent time with the singer Janet Jackson in Las Vegas. While Quinlan believes the lawsuit should be thrown out, he puts the impetus for his filing nor on city's attorneys, but on then Mayor Rahm Emanuel. And of course, Mayor Rahm Emanuel is such a liar himself. He never really did anything for the city of Chicago either, because all the crimes that's going on in Chicago still, all the shootings and everything else, he has done nothing for that city. So they decided, until one day they got a woman mayor for the city of Chicago. While Quinlan believes the lawsuit should be thrown out, and I think it should be thrown out too. This lawsuit was only filed by the former mayor out of frustration for the state's attorney dismissing the charges, said Quinlan. So it was filed by the former mayor. of Chicago, in other words, Rahm Emanuel, he's filed this lawsuit. And of course, Rahm Emanuel really didn't have a right to do that and get the city of Chicago to sue Jussie Smollett for $130,000 plus another $130,000. So that adds up to $390,000. It's just totally ridiculous. How will this end? No prediction here. This case has more twists than a bag of Twizzlers. Oh, yes, it does have more twists than a bag of Twizzlers. All right. And like I said, it's just totally outrageous to charge Jussie Smollett $130,000 to pay back the city, because there's no way he's going to do that. Leave your comments below. I am out.